Hello everybody, my name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today I wanted to talk about the David Platt documentary that came out, and it's been a long time coming. Many people have been asking, when is this thing coming out? Because, I posted both of the trailers on Evangelical Dark Web, and a lot of people subscribe to the channel in anticipation for that. The documentary is finally here. I'll let you know where you can find it, and I also want to talk about it, give my take on it as well. But first, I want you to know Evangelical Dark Web is a Christian news gathering and commentary ministry. And part of this is we've been reporting on this story the entire time. The David Platt lawsuits, the scandal that the documentary uncovers, where there's a massive conspiracy to join the SBC against the Constitution of the McLean Bible Church, and then also how David Platt immediately goes woke at McLean Bible Church. So we've been covering David Platt for quite some time here at Evangelical Dark Web, and this documentary does introduce some new things which I like to talk about, and that's what I want to mainly talk about in today's video, is some of the stuff that I learned as someone who's really informed on the issues, who went through all the documents that Church Reform Initiative published online, and looked at the story of what's going on with NBC. And so for me to learn something new from this documentary is great. And that's kind of what I want to highlight in today's video. This is our Patreon-like system, by the way. Least you can do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, to the podcast if you're new. Also check out my book, Winning Not Winsome, 10 Commandments of Spiritual Warfare. I do think I talk about David Platt a little bit, but this is a channel where you can find the documentary. It's faith-based Christian Real David Platt documentary part 1. They're going to do a part 2 also, and that is that. So I want to talk more about the documentary. Overall, it's pretty good. I'm not sure I agree with the decision to split it up because, I'm used to listening to some very long YouTube videos while I work. I don't know how much other footage they have, but, maybe it's a lot. Maybe it's worth a 2-parter or a 3-parter even. So some of what's in the documentary, and this might be my biggest criticism of it, and it's not necessarily an invalidation, but when a new pastor takes over a church, there is definitely going to be some discontent with any changes that are implemented by a new pastor. And some of that does showcase itself when they talk about the changing of the small groups thing in the documentary. Now, are their grievances valid? Probably, and I think they make a good case for them being valid, but it does come across as discontent with any sort of change, and that could be a reason that people would want to undermine the documentary. But again, the main issues are David Platt was extremely woke. Extremely woke. I think he's probably still more woke than Mike Kelsey, who's now the senior pastor at NBC. And he was part of a conspiracy to lie to the congregation about joining the Southern Baptist Convention, or not joining the Southern Baptist Convention. So there's 3 clips that I want to share from the documentary. The first one is something new that I learned, is the suggestion that Lon Solomon, the previous senior pastor at NBC, was not amicably moving on from NBC. It was not an amicable split, and this guy, who was a longtime pastor, showed no intentions of really retiring, never set foot in the church again. So this is one of the most interesting. This one got my ears perked up kind of the most individually right here.
Those of you who know Lon will especially appreciate this. He has no microphone tonight. Do you get that? No microphone. He can't. You know how much he wants a mic right now, right? This is killing him. He just wants to clean up what I'm doing. Dale, if you'd said it this way, it'd be a little bit. Yeah. So let's. No, you did great. I did okay? All right, good. All right. Let me pray for Lon. Let's all pray together, okay?
We had been used to the protection of our shepherds, of the elders, and so we thought that was good enough.
There was stuff going on behind the scenes what the elders didn't know about.
Lon Solomon stated in late 2016 that he had no intentions of ever leaving McLean Bible Church. David Platt was inserted in September of 2017, and by 2018, Lon Solomon, a Jewish follower of Christ, was gone from NBC, never to set foot in the church ever again. This wasn't an amicable separation by any stretch, and the whole takeover by the Southern Baptist Convention and David Platt was full of lies and corruption.
So that to me was a major takeaway. The idea that, Lon Solomon kind of forced out of his own church. So the more I hear about Lon Solomon, the more I seem to like about Lon Solomon. Seems like a very good pastor, and it's really great for him that he has all these people that really care about him and his legacy, apparently more than McLean Bible Church does now, because part of what the documentary reveals is how much they deleted their own history and his legacy they delete from their website. So there's more to that story that I'm totally interested in learning more about. But the documentary in part 1 does not really go deeper into answering my questions about what happened with Lon Solomon at this church. Its previous senior pastor, he was a very famous pastor, had a radio program, was in a very influential part of the country, Northern Virginia. So what happened with him? So the next part is towards the climax of the documentary, and it has to do with David Platt lying. Now he's on camera lying to his congregation about their affiliation or lack thereof with the Southern Baptist Convention. Here's clip number 2 that I wanted to share.
Question, yes or no. Is McLean Bible Church affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention?
McLean Bible Church cooperates with North American Mission Board and Church Planning, International Mission Board, and sending missionaries. There are McLean Bible Church staff, some of whom get education at Southern Baptist seminaries, and we have supported refugee work.
So based on what you just said, does this mean that the McLean Bible Church is affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention? Yes or no?
I really don't want, I feel like I'm not sure exactly what you mean by affiliated. Because, and here's what I mean by that, and why that's important. If I say...
Laura asked David Platt specifically if the church was affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention, and he never answered the question. That was an easy question.
Let me ask my question just one last time. Is McLean Bible Church affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention? Yes or no?
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure how else to answer your question.
It's clear that I'm asking, is McLean Bible Church affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention, right? It's clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yes or no?
I think so the way Southern Baptist Convention uses language, it's you work in friendly cooperation with. That's the exact language the Southern Baptist Convention uses. You work in friendly cooperation with other churches. Do we cooperate with other churches in those ways? Yes.
Okay.
We have since before I got here.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Sure thing.
So there's David Platt lying about McLean Bible Church not being a part of the Southern Baptist Convention. He knows very well that he was instrumental, not the only one, instrumental in getting the church into the Southern Baptist Convention, increasing its contribution and involvement with the Southern Baptist Convention. And he knows this, and he's just not answering the question. The evidence is overwhelming. They have the emails. I've even seen the emails. It is overwhelming, the evidence that this was a Southern Baptist church. And it's also overwhelming that this church did not want to be a Southern Baptist church. They did not want to be a part of any denomination. And it goes through that history in the documentary. So I actually really appreciated that section where they talk about the church's history. They talk about the context of its founding. So I really like that part of the documentary. The next clip is the final clip that I wanted to share, and it comes immediately after. And it has to do with setting up a massive showdown at the same meeting that was taking place. So here's clip number 3.
Make a motion for David's dismissal and removal based on gross violations of Article 9 of the Constitution. I would like to present those to you and the congregation if we could.
I'll second the motion.
No, under the Constitution, it's Larry's decision to hold a special meeting for that reason, and I have evidence to support this.
This is not the forum.
Hear him out.
It is.
Let's hear him out.
Let him talk.
Where else would you give us anybody an opportunity to speak? You shut the church down for a year. Other churches are open. There's no other opportunity that you'll ever give anybody. And I have solid evidence.
So that is very interesting. He brings up a motion to remove David Platt, and you got to check out the rest of that scene in the documentary. I don't just want to play it and spoil it, but it is very good. It's very interesting that, they try to remove him. He reads out the evidence. He brings the receipts to the table. They even let him read it, but it doesn't really go anywhere. They eventually cut his mic. They're trying to tell him this isn't the place, this isn't the time or the place to make this motion, even though it's a business meeting. So yeah, it is the time and the place. And they're not going to let there ever be a time and a place to make that motion, as the member aptly points out. They've locked down the church, which was a sin, by the way, and a sin that David Platt is justified using, his pulpit powers to do so. So this is a church that is locked down. They don't want transparency with their members. They don't want accountability with their members. And it really showcases itself in that scene. Obviously, David Platt did not get removed from McLean Bible Church, and eventually they would shut off the guy's mic and ask for the evidence so they can just, put it in a shredder. So it was a very interesting documentary that has a very brutal ending, and it looks terrible for David Platt. But again, David Platt was a terrible pastor. Let's just be real. I believe David Platt is a false teacher, and, this guy was woke. He immediately went woke at McLean Bible Church, by the way. And he lies to his own church members like it's nothing. So, he's living a George Costanza level lie with his own church. And that is just unacceptable. That is a reproach. And he's a disgrace. David Platt should be removed. He should resign in disgrace, by the way. Just to be clear. But who knows? So, those are my thoughts on the documentary. I can't wait to watch part 2 and talk about that as well. That's all I got for today. For now, my name is Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you like this content, do also subscribe to the channel, to the podcast if you're new. Until then, have a blessed day. Stay based. Christ is King, and we will catch you on the next one.